And hello, welcome to Solo Playthroughs. We have my first ever, I mean ever, because I had no time to practice this at all, but my first ever combined adversary playthrough. We're doing Sweden 6 and England 1, and I have the rules from the Jagged Earth expansion right here to make sure I don't mess this up, or at least not mess it up too much, and I'm assuming the chat is going to be there to help keep me straight, because that's what you all do. Let me make sure my mic is on. Yeah, looks like I got this going right this time. No picture of me drinking my coffee. I went right to I had the starting page up when it started. Patreon, boom, look at me on a roll. Hopefully that is a good sign. But yeah, I had every intention of practicing this last night, and then I finally was able to get a playthrough of Madara on camera, and that took a long time. So here we are, but it's Sweden 6, it's Thunderspeaker, she's amazing, it's Shadows, he's come a long way in my estimation, in my personal rankings, and my heart, clearly. And England won. So England won obviously does change a lot of how this is going to play through. I'm not sure how it's going to go. We'll see. A little bit of deja vu right now. I feel like I did like an England 6 playthrough a long time ago live, and I just was like, whoa, that feels very familiar, what I just said there. So I do have this set up. Again, I am doing the community challenge. I believe it was number 64. Let me see if I can see this. Hey, there's someone live on my YouTube page. I should probably check that out. Thanks, YouTube, for the warning. Community challenge 64. This is from the Spirit Island subreddit. They do a challenge once every other week or so. This is from at least 2 months ago, probably more at this point. I flagged it, looked like an interesting challenge to me, and I will come back to those challenges now and again just to really give me an idea of like, oh, this seems like something cool that would be good for the channel. I have not played Spirit Island in a couple of weeks, but it's Spirit Island. I think I played enough. We should be okay, at least a little bit better than I was last week when I basically tried to rust to get the cobwebs out of my head for too many bones, which went decently okay. I think. We'll see. Look at this little tile. I took it out for the sole reason that I really wanted to throw it across the room because we don't need that. Hate the high immigration tile. We don't need that today. We are only doing England won. And I literally was like, oh, I don't need this. I'm going to put it on just so I can throw it across the room because that felt very cathartic and therapeutic to me. And if you've played against England enough, you'll know how I feel. I am shuffling the major powers. Why the major powers first? Because it was there and I just wanted to pick them up and shuffle them. So let's get into this combining two adversaries. There's a little bit of flavor text here. I'm going to move good old Thunderspeaker out of the way so I have a little surface to shuffle this. Through conquest or marriage, one adversary nation joins with another, shifting their society and how they approach colonization. I almost wanted to say colonialization. I guess that's probably a word too, right? I don't know. We'll see. You can combine two adversaries for a hybrid challenge, incorporating aspects of both. This can be fun for play variety and is useful for experienced players wanting to only use the lower levels of a new adversary. You can combine it with a rules-light challenge like Brandenburg Prussia to make up for the lower difficulty. So, deciding on two adversaries, we do have them decided for us thanks to the subreddit community. It is going to be England 1 and Scotland 6. So, Scotland 6 is our main adversary, and England 1 is going to be our support adversary. That will matter. So, making the fear deck. What we're going to do is we're going to look at the two fear decks of both levels. What I mean by that is Scotland's fear deck is a 4-4-5. And England 1, oh, that's for Scotland 6, I should say. England 1's fear deck is a 3-4-3. If you use a base of 3, that will just counter it. So like 3-3. So just imagine they both are 3-3-3, 3-3-3. Now speaking's getting a little bit hard. Now, since combined, Scotland, and I keep saying Scotland, I mean Sweden. Sweden is +1 over the 3, and England just has a 3 for the first level of the fear deck. We're just going to have 3 in the Terra level 1 grouping. Now we go to the Terra level 2 grouping. It's a 4 and a 4. So you take the base levels of a 3. England has 1 more. Sweden has 1 more. So we're going to have 5 cards because 1 + 1, advanced math, that's 2. And then finally we have a 3-4-3 for England. So that is 3 for Terra level 3. We have 5 for Terra level 3 for Sweden. And since that is combined a +2 over par, if I can use some golf terminology here, we're going to add 2 there. So our combined deck, we take the 3-4-3 and the 4-4-5, and we're going to turn that into a 4-5-5. And if that didn't make sense to you, it's probably because I explained it terribly, but hopefully you get my point, and we can move on. By the way, the rules for this is page 19 of the Jagged Earth rulebook. It is very, very nicely laid out. And unlike in past times where I've done unique challenges from here, like the 2-board playthrough, I'm just going to actually have this book out to make sure that I do every single step of setup methodically, and we'll get this done right the first time. The escalation effects, we're going to choose one adversary to be leading. Obviously, that is going to be Scotland. Its escalation effect applies normally. So when we're in stage 2, we have to be careful to make sure that Dahan don't magically turn into towns. Losing Dahan when you're playing as Thunderspeaker is nasty, 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 and more nasty. She loves her Dahan. That would be very bad if they all of a sudden turn into towns. However, the other escalation of England doesn't just go away. Instead, the supporting adversary is going to apply its escalation effect on all stage 3 invader cards. So again, when we get a stage 3 invader card, we're going to look at the stage 2 escalation, because now it's going to apply in stage 3, and on each board with cities and towns, we're going to build in the land with the most cities and towns. So very interesting there. Making the invader deck. If both adversaries modify the invader deck, first follow all the instructions on the supporting adversary in order, and then follow all the instructions on the leading adversary in order as well. So I've done a lot of talking. Let me make sure I'm not forgetting to do what I said I need to do. So I'm going to make the fear deck. Again, it's going to be a 4-5-5. Is my mic on? I think I checked this already. Yeah, my mic is on. All right, we're good. We're good. All right. Give these a couple more shuffles, and we'll go from there. Dude, what about Spirit Island? I know there was like that recent update with like, watch out for the new expansion, and it was basically something they had already announced a while ago. So yeah, freaking great in the game, getting our hopes up. So yeah, I think that the Han themed expansion is still a bit of a ways off. It does seem, which is fine. Take your time, get it right. I definitely would prefer that. But they just announced you can get all the promo spirits in one expansion, which is really smart of them. And then they also came out with like another board, which honestly just doesn't look good to me and doesn't seem necessary, but I could definitely see some people really wanting it, especially if you're like an ultra completionist. Have at it. So here are going to be the 4 cards for Terra level 1, the 5 cards for Terra level 2, and then the 5 cards for Terra level 3 before we get to that beautiful man who says you win, because he is awesome. So ding, Terra level 3 divider, 5 cards, Terra level 2 divider, 4 cards, our fear deck is set. Let me get the blight card set. Remember, I have 16 cards, like I've always said, because there are 16 blight cards, including the 2 including the 2 still healthy island cards. I'm going to roll a d20. I got a 2. Take card number 2, counting from the bottom. We're going to put 5 blight on here. Got a text. It's about dinner next week, guys. Anyone want to join? It'll be fun. We are going to now make the invader deck. So we're going to make the invader deck normal like we would for England. Remember, England, one of the things they don't do is mess with the invader deck at all. They just make everything else about your life very difficult. So I'm going to roll a d6. We're going to take out card number 6. That's 5 stage 3 cards. We're gonna shuffle for the stage 2 cards. I'm gonna roll a d6. Number 5 comes out. Again, counting from the bottom. I always count from the bottom. Why? I don't know. Something I do. And then we're gonna shuffle these 4 cards. Roll a d6. I rolled a 6. Not helpful. I rolled a 1. That's out. We now go through all of the steps of Sweden. So let me actually confirm. Let me kind of go through here. So additional loss condition is still going to be in effect. So if 7 or more towns or cities are ever in a single land, we are going to lose. So we got to make sure we're aware of that. And then the stage 2 escalation, as I already said, will only apply at stage 3. The level 1 that we have here is indentured servants earn land. Invaders build actions affect lands without invaders if they are adjacent to at least 2 cities or towns before the build action. And again, that is before the build action. That's when you evaluate it. That is, again, the thing that makes England super annoying, along with that high immigration tile. So we will have to keep that in mind, and I'll just kind of nestle it in there so we can see the level 1. The escalations for Sweden, again, we already have their stage 2 escalation. It's terrible. After invaders explore into each land this phase, if that land has at least as many invaders as Dahan, replace one Dahan with a town. I do sometimes so often wish that it was like, if they have more, the at least thing is so easy to get to. It's really, really brutal. By the way, how you figure difficulty level, Sweden 6 is considered a difficulty level 8, which I still found one of the lowest. I find that artificially low. I think it should be like a 9 at least, but that's just my opinion. You're going to take that, and then you're going to take the other adversary, and you're going to take 50% of their level. So this is and not their terror level, their actual difficulty level. So the difficulty level of England level 1 is at a 3. So roughly you're going to say take 1.5, add that to the 8. So this is a roughly a 9.5, 10 difficulty going in if you're caring about like, hey, where does this fit in with other challenges that you do. The level escalations for Sweden. Level 1, heavy mining. If the invaders do at least 6 damage to the land during ravage, add an extra blight. Rocket Magnet UK, hello sir. Yeah, new deluxe invader board and combined promo pack Feather and Flame. Thank you for adding that. I appreciate it. Heavy mining. So yeah, so the additional blight does not cascade or destroy presence. Now, if there was already a blight there, the first blight would still cascade normally, but the second blight would not. We go to level 2, population pressure at home during setup. On each board, add a city to land 4, and I'm going to do that now. So you'll notice I did just go ahead with the normal setup. So I already put my disease, I put my beast out, I put the Dahan out. So we have 6 Dahan on both boards, and I put the starting city and the starting town as per the setup icons on the board. Now we're going to add an additional city. We're going to put a city in land 4 on board D, and we're putting, of course it's board D. I love board D, it's so great. And then we're going to put a city on land 4 on board A. Because there is a blight there on land 4, we're going to actually move that blight over to 5 instead. Level 3 for Sweden is fine steel for tools and guns. Towns deal 3 damage, and cities deal 5. Royal backing during setup. After adding all on the invaders, discard the top card of the invader deck. Here we go. Yoink, it is mountains. On each board, add a town to the land of that terrain with the fewest invaders. So I can put this in either 5 or 8. What is that? Shadow. I don't love putting it where there's a disease, but not a disease, a blight. But I'm going to do it anyway. Just central. I should be able to take care of some things there, and I will put it in land. Oof. But I have a Dahan there. We are going to be in stage 2 pretty quick. That's interesting. Yeah, I'll still put it there, and then I'm going to put it in land 1 on board A because we have a beast there. Maybe we can get lucky. Again, there were obviously no invaders in either of those places, so we got to choose on both boards. Excellent. Now on each board, yeah, we did that. All right, so royal backing is done. We go to mining rush. When ravaging adds at least 1 blight to a land, also add 1 town to an adjacent land without cities or towns. Cascading blight does not cause this effect. So that's rough. And then prospecting outpost during setup on each board, add 1 town and 1 blight to land number 8. Ooh. So I guess I was adding a blight. I guess I was adding a town to a land with blight. Either way you cut it in on board D. So there's a town and a blight. That does come from the box. Town and a blight. And remember, we do have 5 blight on our Blighted Island card. Again, the 4 blight as per the instructions on the card, and then the Eric Royce Loves You blight on top of that. So here we go. That is all of the setup for Sweden level 6. I have one more thing to do, the monumental task of shuffling this minor power deck, which still never gets easier, but here we go. I don't think there's anything else I need to read here. All right. Feel good about that. Example, all the supporting adversary in order and the file all the leading adversary in order. Cool. Yeah, so the example here is they walk you through a Prussia 4 and Russia 4 example, with Prussia being the leading. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I would not want to combine Russia with anybody. That would be insane. Um, Michael Reggae, the only land site without initial invaders is gone. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the way it goes. Not only is it gone, I mean, it's also like we put a town in both. It was just like, there's no invaders here. Now there are invaders in all of them, and we have a town and three blight in all of them, which is nuts because there was not supposed to be. Well, I guess this starting blight was already there. So yeah, we have a town and three blight in the mountains. So hopefully these stage 2 cards are not mountains, and hopefully we can actually deal with those mountains before those stage 2 cards come up, especially with all our Dahan just sitting there as some low-hanging fruit. Yeah, that's rough. That's a rough. That's a crazy looking board. I mean, it's almost like you're looking at France right now with like that many towns on the board to start, or even Habsburg. It's like that 3 towns and 2 cities is nuts, especially with all the extra damage they're doing. All right, I'm not going to go crazy with this minor power deck. We're just going to give it a quick box shuffle, cut it once, and call it a day. All right, Thunderspeaker, come on back. I missed you so much. I'm not going to go through starting powers, or obviously haven't read the lore in a while. If you missed my dulcet tones reading the lore in the back of the spirit board, you can obviously go find my original videos for all of the spirits, which those videos are a little bit dated at this point. Woo! Had to start somewhere, but that's fine. What's going on? Hello, Greg. Hello, everyone. Finally able to catch a live Spirit Island playthrough. Love Spirit Island. I love your playthroughs. Thank you, Umberto. Land 8 is a jungle for the lady. No? Oh, did I just put on a mountain? Look at me. Oh, rough. It is a jungle. Look at that. Thank you so much. Yeah, I was just got so hung up on the mountain thing. So, yeah, it is absolutely supposed to go there. So we have 2 towns and a blight in land 8. Nice catch. Here I am, going through it methodically and still screwing things up. Rock on. This choice for emerging adversaries is crazy. And Tony Barnett's, and it looks like one of our games. You gave me shadows, huh? Based on color. It took me a second. Hello, Tony. Yes, Tony and I do a lot of Spirit Island over Zoom. Zoom is actually it works amazingly well as long as you both have a copy of the game. And Tony does normally play as blue. And yeah, dude. I mean, I can't make shadows red. It's not exactly shadowy in my mind. Trying to think if I should move my ugly mug somewhere. No, I think this is the best setup I can get going. Should work. I can enlarge. Make it look a little more natural. There we go. Nah, that doesn't work. We'll just go back to that. All right, I'm done messing around. Here we go. We got the first. Oh, we had final step of setup. The initial explorer is wetlands. So we get one explorer in 1, one explorer in 3. We get an explorer in 2, and we get an explorer in 5. This looks really bad. Oh, no more exploring, Greg. Just stop. Great, I'm going to get this book out of my way and try to wrap my head around this mess of a challenge. So we have Thunderspeaker. It's been a little bit, Thunderspeaker, so go easy on me. We are stage 1 England, right? So even if I move this explorer, they're still building there. This is rough. None of this looks good. I quit. This is a bad idea. Mayday, mayday. Can I? Well, I have a defend there. If I can move, I defend enough. Getting this slow power could be good. I can get 2 card plays and an air. So my growth options, I definitely want to get 2 presents out, but that's going to leave me a little bit broke. So I guess 1 presence is going to do and just get the 4 energy. If I can, so they're going to be ravaging 6 there next turn, which is rough. So I actually might want to gather that explorer out of there. Gather. Oh, I could do that too. Oh, never mind. Yeah, I can gather. Here's what I can do next turn. Oh, it's only defending 3 though. Yikes! That 5 ravage is awful. If I push these guys in here and defend 3, I could actually lose a Dahan and still fight back and defeat that city, which is probably the way to go. Ravage. Spend 3. I could do Words of Warning into land 5. So I have a loose plan here for Thunderspeaker. That is going to require the hold on to Words of Warning for next turn, which is going to mean I'm going to need more than 1 energy this turn, but I still want the 2 card plays each equal to the number of presence in my land. Oh. Maybe I just wipe out that city in the fast power phase, in the slow power phase this turn. That I don't hate. And then I could take care of that next turn. Will I get enough presence in there? Yes. Remember special rules. Your presence may move with Dahan. Whenever Dahan moves from one of your lands to another, you may move your presence along with it, and then sworn to victory. For each Dahan destroyed by invaders ravaging a land, destroy one of your presence within 1 after losing presence to blight, if relevant. So definitely going to have to do this, I think. So I'm going to add a presence. 1 away from my half presence. I'm going bottom track here. I'm going to add it into land 2, and I'm going to get 4 energy. I'm going to spend 3 of that energy on manifestation of power and glory. Let's get this party started early, and then we're going to go from there. Let me look at Shadow's mess of a starting hand. I love you, Shadows. I really do, but man, you're still weak. Whenever you use a power, you may pay 1 energy to target a land with the Han, regardless of the power's range. Again, Shadows just get a lot better with the aspect cards. I'm going to put this here to show I did growth option 3, but I haven't done much with the aspect cards on the channel. Obviously, that could be good. I can push, replace, gather. I don't want to do Crops, Wither, and Fade and Mantle Dread in the same turn, because I would like to gather and explore. The problem is I can't prevent any builds because there are freaking invaders everywhere. That could be good fear generation. Ooh. That could be worth it. I'm going to use that next turn, and I'm going to want to use this turn. That will give me these 2 for next turn. I like that. So what am I going to do with my growth option here? Put Shadows cards there. No, it's not going to work. I'll just put the unique cards off the board to the bottom here. Growth option. I need only 1 energy, so do I gain a power card? No, probably not. I'm going to have to reclaim in 3 turns anyway, and then when I reclaim with Thunderspeaker, I'm going to get a ton of cards. So I think I'll just do bottom track so I get 2 card plays. I am going to need energy, so I'm going to add a presence 3 away from where I have presence. I will add this presence into land 3, and I'm going to get 3 energy. I'm going to pay for Mantle of Dread, and now we go to the fast power phase. Let me do the element check. Actually, elements, how could I forget about elements? So we have air. Thinking of elements I care about when you are Thunderspeaker. So we have air, we have I'm not going to be anyway. Shoot. Trying to think if there's any way I can not play Voices of Thunder this turn. Nope. It is what it is. So I'm basically wasting Lead the Furious Assault, but that's fine. It is what it is. Put this here, and we have Beast. So I'm not actually going to have either of my innate powers as Thunderspeaker this turn, but it's fine. I'll be able to make that work for next turn, and then we'll start unlocking her innates. So nothing there. And as far as Shadow, again, he's going to care about what? Moon. He's also going to care about fire, and he's also going to care about air. We actually have 2 moons. We have 1 fire. That's all we got, but it is enough to give us the first level of Darkness Swallows the Unwary. So I can target a land. So if we're doing fast powers, I can target a land 1 away from my half presence to gather an explorer. I don't No, one away from where I have a sacred site to gather and explore. Again, it's just super strong. Normally, not as strong against England, and I only could gather really that explorer or that explorer. But there's a beast there anyway, so I'm just gonna kind of let everything ride. If I gather him, yeah, there's no harm in not gathering this dude. So I'm gonna actually target land 5, gather the explorer from 1. Let me gather the explorer from 1 into 7. Let's not make 5 more of a mess than it already is. And then that's done. And then concealing shadows. Nope, I played the wrong card. I will play favors called do. That makes more sense. Done. So instead of playing Concealing Shadows, which I want to play next turn, I played Favors Called Do, which is what my original intention was. Looking at comments. Hey, I made it back. Best of fortune for this play. Thank you, David. Said it looks good. Thanks, Jonathan. Spirit Island looks terrible. Absolutely. More stuff to destroy. Download one more energy from the track. No need to make this harder on yourself. Yes. Thank you. Ooh. Does that change things? Man, you guys just need to hang out with me all the time. Um, does that change things? No. Still not going to get everything I want. I mean, I could just do one card play. No. 3, 2. Yes. Thinks I'm just not missing out on Lead the Furious Assault for the first 2 rounds is like really, really dumb. Really dumb. I will. That would give me Gather the Warriors. I think that's smarter. Gonna make sure I can get the invaders where the Dahan where I want them. So the other fast power I hear. So I still have the innate power of Gather the Warriors. And that will also give me Gather the Warriors next turn too. Yeah, it's a better thing. So I spent the extra energy that I forgot about because I got 4 from the growth option and then 1 from the presence track. I can gather a Dahan. Each Dahan destroys 1 presence. I'm going to gather a Dahan from, so 1 away from my half presence. I'm going to gather a Dahan from 3 into 2. I'm going to bring my presence with it. And then I'm going to be, each Dahan can destroy 1 explorer. I'm going to destroy this explorer from 2. That is definitely better. So that fast power is used. Everything else I have is slow. Thanks for the assist, Damu. All right, let's get to the Invader Phase. So there is no Blighted Island effect. We're going to go to the event card. Oh, Spirit, Jagged Earth rules. We are not going to carry out anything of that, thanks God, because it's gradual corruption. And that's just a really, absolutely... Oh, actually, it would be fine now. But generally speaking, you get that like in the mid-game, it's garbage. That's how I really feel about it. Don't hold back, Greg. And now we are going to carry out the invader steps. There's only one step this turn. It's going to be the build step. So we'll do a land board order just to keep things simple. So board A, I'm going to take the disease off of land 2. It doesn't build there. We're building a town in land 5. And we're building a... Actually, let me count this, by the way. So heirs, I have 2 heirs, and then I have 1 son. Good. We're going to do a town in land 5. Already did that. We're going to do a town in land 1 because England level 1. We're doing a town in land 3, and now we go to the Explorer step. This is our final level 1 card, which is super bad because now we have to worry about, again, that Sweden escalation, which makes Thunderspeaker especially nervous. We are exploring into sands. Yikes! So we get a explorer into land 7, an explorer into land 4, an explorer into land 4, and an explorer into land 7. We are going to advance the invader cards, and now we do our slow powers. Mantle of Dread. Target spirit may push 1 explorer and 1 town from one of their lands. So I'm going to generate 2 fear off the top because of Mantle of Dread. And we're going to push these suckers from here. I will push them into 7. Ugh. Nope. Don't have an amazing place to put these guys. Kind of want to put them in 7, but I think that's going to be asking for it because then they're going to build a city there. I'll put them in 2 and just kind of make 2 kind of a mess, and then we'll see if I can't set up something cooler later, but at least we don't have to worry about 3 now. We're going to gather up to 4 Dahan. I'll land 1 away from my half presence, which is good because it will prevent, hopefully I can kind of work this to prevent a lot of utter badness with the invader cards. So I will, that would be interesting. Yeah, I got some ideas for land 2 over here. So I'm going to gather up to 4. Let me gather just this 1 from land 2. And hopefully that's not, hopefully that's not jungle. Because jungle would be all sorts of bad, so we've done this. Or alternatively, I could just use this card to try to get 3 fear, which I don't hate. So if I don't gather, I can do enough Dahan movement with Thunderspeaker, but then I'm really risking, and if it explores into pretty much three quarters of the board, I'm losing a Dahan to a town. And I don't love that. But I like Fear. Fear is good. So invaders are present and Dahan outnumber invaders. So I'm going to target land 1, which is 1 away from my presence. Just get 3 Fear. I think we need to start getting through this Fear deck for sure. That is how you win the game, kids. And now we're going to do the things for Thunderspeaker. So we're going to get 1 Fear off the top. We're targeting a land where we have presence, which is also a land that has Dahan. So I got the 1 Fear at the top. Each Dahan deals damage equal to the number of presence you have in the target land. I have 2 presence there. Each Dahan is going to deal 2 damage. So we destroy this city. That's 2 more Fear. And that, my friends, is our first Fear card. Excellent. Now I have Gather the Warriors. I definitely want to get a bunch of Dahan somewhere. Where is somewhere? I need to get Dahan into land 5. So I can gather up to 2 Dahan because I have 2 air. I'm going to target a land 1 away from my presence. I'm going to gather these 2 Dahan. Do I need actual presence there? Don't. So I'll leave it as it is. I gather 2 Dahan from, no, I'll gather 1 from 6. Yeah, I gather 1 from 6 and then 1 from 7. And yeah, I'm just kind of pretty vulnerable to this stage 2 escalation for Sweden in a lot of places. So hopefully we get a little bit lucky there. I'm going to put all my energy away. We're going to move to time passes. And now we go back to the growth. See if I screwed up anything else. Wow, best of luck or brain power. Yes. And after a day of Madara last night, I do not feel especially strong on brain power right now, but that's why I have you all to keep me straight here. So I'm going to add 2 presents. Let's start getting some energy, shall we? Yes, I think that's a good idea. So let's have 2 power cards this turn, 2 power cards next turn, and I'm going to need some energy to pay for 3 in following turns. So I love that Reclaim 1, but that, my friends, is for another day. So I can add a presence to a land with Dahan. I will add it to 2 away from where I have presence. I think I want to start loading a presence in this 2 and just do some magical things there. Again, that 2 is looking all sorts of shady. So yeah, so I can add 2 away from my hat presence that has Dahan. So we have there, and then I'm going to add a second one there. I'm going to play these 2 power cards. I get 2 energy from my track. I'm going to spend 1 on Words of Warning. I only have the Gather the Warriors because I have that 1 beast. I do not have any levels of Lead the Furious Assault. And then we are going to give 2 suns and we have 2 air. And that will be important for when we do gather the Warriors in a slow phase. I'll just do my fast power now before I even set up Shadows because it's really obvious. I'm going to target a land that has Dahan, 1 away from my half presence. I'm going to defend 3. Let me defend 3 in land number 5. Again, they are ravaging 4. I'm defended 3. Hopefully the event card does not screw us too much there. We are now going to Shadows. Shadow still has 2 cards here. He's going to need some energy. do maybe think it makes sense to get a power card, because or getting the 3 card plays with shadows is also really important, because then you could start doing this darkness swallows the unwary and start getting fear for just destroying explorers, which everyone likes destroying explorers because, you know, they're gross. Uh, energy or power card? Energy or power card? I will take the presence of the top track to get 1 energy from there during the rest of this. And do I want a power card? Getting a power card next turn. Yeah, let me start diving through the power card deck. At least get something that I can throw away for a major at some point. So going through the minor power deck, looking for moons and sun. Yeah, all these cards are. Wait a second. That might be. I'm gonna really need. Yeah, I'm gonna need so much energy. I'm getting a power card next turn. I want to play these 2 cards anyway. I'll put that back. Let me get the 3 energy. And that way I can, when I start getting at the 3 card plays, I'm not going to worry about being cash poor for a couple of rounds. Yeah, that might not be the right choice. I mean, I definitely argument even for like major power dumpster diving right now, but energy is always good. That power card draw isn't going to help me this turn. So I did growth option 3 again. I'm just going to spam that a little bit. I already got the 1 energy from the presence track, and then I got the 3 energy from that. So now I have 4 energy. And I'm going to keep getting 1 a turn, which will make sure that I'll have enough for a little bit here. Again, once you get there, you're getting 3 energy a turn, which is huge. And then I can pay for a lot of things. I do have the first level of Darkness Swallows the Unwary again. And we already did my fast power over here with Words of Warning. So, what is Shadows going to do? Shadows is... Oh, I didn't add my presence, did I? Yeah, I used this instead of this. Add your presence on the board, dude. I'm adding a presence to land 1, obviously. Concealing Shadows, I'm going to generate 1 fear off the top. The Dahan there are going to take no damage there this turn, which is great. There will be a blight. I'm going to lose a presence for it, but at least they'll be able to retaliate and kill that town. That will make me happy. Crops Wither and Die is going to be a slow power. I will have a couple of places where I can use that. No, at least one place I can use, as well, as long as we don't explore into mountains. Please don't explore into mountains. That would make me very sad. Oh, no, I'm fine. Actually, I'll lose the Dahan, but I'll still have my presence. Always thinking, Greg. And now, do I want to move any explorers? So I can gather and explore. Yes, Darkness Swallows the Unwary, 1 away from our sacred site. Well, it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. Oosh. I don't have presence here or here, which isn't great for next turn. Let me gather this explorer into land 5. Love to have gathered him back to 1, but I probably shouldn't have gathered out of 1 last turn. But I play bad, so that's how that goes. Slow power, slow power, slow power. We're going to go to the Invader Phase. No Blighted Island card effect. The event card. Cities rise. No, they don't. In the land with the most towns, replace 2 towns with 2 cities. Oof. Oh, that's rough. Well, interesting. Going to have to do it. So it's on each board. So there's 2 towns in land 8, thanks to all the setups. So those become 2 cities. And now there is no place with 2 towns on board D. So I have to choose 1 and just turn a town into a city. With what I'm thinking about doing with Thunderspeaker and board in land 2, I think it just makes the most sense to just do that. So now we have 2 cities in land 2. Again, on the land with the most towns, replace 2 with 2. Done. Beast chased off the homesteaders, push up to 2 explorers or 1 town from a land with Beast. It's up to, so it's optional. Do I want to move this town anywhere? Will that actually prevent a build anywhere? It actually will not, because we have invaders in every place. Not defended there. I'm not defended enough there. Remember, they're ravaging 4. I will just leave this dude here, I think. Don't see a better place for him. Oh, never mind. Careful defense. When invaders ravage or the land has Dahan, defend 2. I will absolutely push that dude there. Thank you, event card. Because careful defense, when invaders ravage or the land has Dahan, defend 2. Again, when you are evaluating decisions in an event card, you can absolutely read the entire card in making up your mind of what you want to do. First fear card, please be good. Each player removes 1 explorer or town from a land with 2 or more Dahan. That I like. So 2 or more Dahan, remove an explorer or town. I can prevent the blight there. Actually, I'm defended 2 there. So that dude's dead without a blight. These dudes are dead. The only place that really makes sense, so each player can do it. I can do it in the same land. It does not say different lands. So, cool. I will just remove both of them from land 7 on Shadows' board, because Thunderspeaker removed the town, and then Shadows went ahead and moved the Explorer. And now I'm just going to build a town, which is going to look a lot better for me for sure. We're going to do this Ravage action. Now we do the Invader step. So we do the Ravage step. I'll do it on board A first. It's Ravaging 3. I'm defended 2 because of the event card. The Dahan is injured. Both Dahan fight back, destroys that town. That's our second fear. Ravaging 4 here. I'm defended 5 actually, so don't even have an injury. We're going to fight back, destroy that Explorer and Dahan. It generates another fear. On board D, we're ravaging 3. Dahan don't take damage anyway, and I'm defended 2. Retaliate back, destroy that town. That's a fear. That reminder can come off. This defense token can come off. And now we're going to do the build step. We're going to build a town in land 4. That's looking all sorts of ugly. We're building a town in land 7. We're building a town in land 4, and because we are adjacent to 2 towns, thanks to Sweden setup here, and I think I've set Scotland no less than 13 times, we're going to put a town in land 7 as well. And now we do the explore step. Oh, mountains. That's fantastic. So we get an explorer into land 1, an explorer into land 6, we get an explorer into land 8, we get an explorer into land 5. There are more invaders than Dahan in land 5, so I should have gathered that sucker, although that fear card was super nice. So this Dahan goes away and magically becomes a town. Yikes. And invader cards advance. Could have definitely been worse. Do not mind that. And now I need to figure out what I want to do in the slow power phase. Oh no. Did I? Did only take 1. Man. I'll take 2 now. Look at me. You forgot 1 energy for Thunderspeaker again. You get 2. It only took 1. Marlo Clark. Hello. I've watched some of your videos. This is my first time watching live. Hello, Marlo. How are you? Thank you for stopping in. All right, well, I don't have many options with my friend Thunderspeaker or Shadows here. So Shadows is going to generate 2 fear off the top in a land where he has presence and replace 1 town with an explorer, or replace 1 city with a town. So this town is now an explorer. See what I can do about that next turn. Might regret not having a 3rd card play instead of getting that 1 energy, but we'll, say la vie. We're now going to go over to Thunderspeaker's turn. Thunderspeaker has an innate that is slow, and then Voice of Thunder. We could just generate 2 more fear to get a fear card. We could push up the 4 Dahan. That's going to ravage. That's going to be 2 blight. I think I'll be able to move all the Dahan I want and actually keep myself pretty safe from the Sweden escalation. Remember, the escalation doesn't apply if you pick coastal lands anyway. Gather. Defend 3. Alright, let me just take the 2 fear. I'm going to target a land where there's invaders, 1 away from my presence. Obviously, I have several things to choose from. So we'll say land 1. And we're going to get 2 fear. Let's get another fear card. I'm trying to blitz my way into terror level 2 for sure. And now with Gather the Warriors, I can gather 2 and push 1. I will gather into 4, and I will push into 5. I just don't want that dude just hanging out there in land number 3. It's super dangerous for sure. And now I have a bunch of Dahan like in position that I can do some cool things into land 2 and just try to wipe everything out there. It is absolutely a goal of mine. I'll probably wait till either coastal lands or jungles comes up and just try to do a really epic manifestation of power and glory there. Time passes, energy goes away. Obviously, I am now reclaiming with both of my wonderful spirits here. So I'll reclaim with, well, I kind of saw those cards a little bit. I don't really know if they're good or bad, but just because I looked at them when I was Shadows, we'll do Shadows first. He's going to do a reclaim. What do we get? Alright, we have Entrap the Forces of Corruption. It's gather up to 1 blight. Isolate target land. When blight is added to target land, it doesn't cascade. That could be good. We have Promises of Protection. Again, neither one of these have the elements I want. So, Promises of Protection, gather up to 2 Dahan. Dahan have +2 health while in target land. That's fine. We have Scour the Land. Destroy 3 towns and all explorers. Add a blight. If you have 3 air, this can be done fast. Don't love that. We have the Gift of Living Energy. Oh, these are absolutely garbage for Shadows. Because you really need a 3rd moon. So, what can I potentially use once? And then get myself a major power, I think, down the road. Oh, these are really bad. Don't want to add more blight. Entrapping and isolating isn't the worst idea. These are really bad. I might not actually end up using any of these and just basically take a card that I can use for a to dump for a major later. But I'll take Entrap the Forces. I think that's going to be the most flexible. Actually, Promises of Protection. I can have both those guys survive and just wipe that dude out. Still going to be a blight, though. It costs 0 energy. Eesh. Blight is added to target land. I mean, looking at Entrap the Forces for this next turn, because mountains is going to be a serious problem. Mountains are going to be a problem. I'm going to take Entrap the Forces just because. Sorry, Promises of Protection. Yeah, hopefully the Fear card helps me out again. Alright, so that is growth option 1. I'm not adding any presence. It is what it is. I'll figure out my 2 card plays in a little bit. Oh, and remember, I can pay an energy to target a land with Dahan regardless of the power's range. Ooh, that could work really well with Concealing Shadows. A lot, actually. A lot. So, Shadow's little terrible special rule sometimes actually comes in pretty huge. We're going to go here. We're going to reclaim cards, getting 2 powers with Thunderspeaker. We have Bird's Cry Warning. The next time Dahan will be destroyed on target land, destroy 2 fewer. Oh, that's a beautiful thing. That is like a Thunderspeaker special. I don't even know if I need to look at the rest of these. The Short Seas with Hatred. I don't think I've ever played that card with Thunderspeaker. I haven't played Thunderspeaker a ton in the last couple of years, but like, woof, that's really good. Dire Metamorphosis is crazy. Speaking of Tony from before, he definitely played it. I saw him play it super effectively in a game that we played before in the past. Flesh Rot Fever. Flesh Rot Fever is fine. Disease is really strong, but I think Bird's Cry Warning is just way too good for Thunderspeaker. Checking this out. I don't know any of the adversary rules, so I'm not going to be of any help with these. I normally take Entrap, but I think it's the correct, and I think it's correct in this case. Yeah. Yeah, it's really good. I think it's just going to give me some more flexibility. I mean, the one where the Dahan survive, but then remembering Shadow special rule, that's almost a little redundant with concealing shadows for sure. So we have to get one more card with our girl Thunderspeaker. We have Uncanny Melting. If invaders are present, one fear of target land is a sands or a wetland. Remove a blight. Ooh. Ooh, hello. You have none of the elements I like, but blight removal is always good. Entrancing apparitions. Defend 2 if no invaders are present. Gather up to 2 explorers. Call to guard. Gather up to 1 Dahan. Then, if Dahan are present, either defend 1 per Dahan. After invaders are added or moved to target land, 1 damage to each. Or, so you can do the first part of it, or after invaders are. I'm sorry, gather up to 1 Dahan. You always do that. Then you can either defend 1 per Dahan, or invaders are added or moved to target land, 1 damage to each added or moved invader. That's super nice. I don't hate that. And then finally, elusive ambushes, 1 damage in a land with Dahan, or just defend 4. Honestly, with my Dahan movement being what it is. Oh, by the way, this dude heals. Heal up, buddy, heal up. It's actually a decent draw, all things considered. I like elusive ambushes because it really smacks Lead the Fury's assault really hard. Have the Dahan movement. I think I take elusive ambushes just because of how it's going to help my innate. Kind of call the guards is very tempting. Being able to move Dahan fast is super great. But I have other things that will do that, and I can obviously move things in the slow power phase fairly easily. So, good card draws all around. I'm going to take 2 energy and not 1 because I have 2 now. I'm going to take 1 energy over here for shadows. So I've taken the energy from the presence track. Oh, I also forgot that I have this air now. So I actually could have moved. I only moved the 1 as it was. That's all I wanted to do because I wanted to get this Dahan over into there. But I could have actually moved another Dahan in theory, with the air from the presence track. I'm definitely going to try to get the 3 card plays next turn. But, so cheap is good. Cheap is good. Man, they're ravaging 5, 6, 7, 8. If I defend, I can't get enough in there. Cannot, well, yeah, I can't get 4 air, otherwise I could do that fast. I think I just let 4 double blight right now, but both 4s are looking at double blight. That's super fun. Am I going Blighted Island already? I might be. Sure might be. Ooh, that'd be interesting. Alright, I'm going to see if this combo works. I might end up switching this up, but if I play Bird's Cry Warning for 1, and I play get enough Dahan in there. So I need Dahan movement. I'm not going to be able to do it fast, am I? I was thinking if I can get Bird's Cry Warning, use that here, and then I use Shadow's ability to use Concealing Shadows here, because I can forget range. I could just pay an energy to use it anywhere there are Dahan. That's like super strong. I'll take no damage. Remember, if I lose this Dahan, then I'm going to have to destroy one of Thunderspeaker's presence because it's one away. This is a mess. All of it. That I don't hate. City, city. Isolate. Ooh, that's an interesting combo. Push 3 into there. That I like. This is definitely something I want to do. So I'm going to spend 1 energy to do Shadow Special Rule. So that's the start. Now I got 1 more power card for each of these. I'm not going to do Manifestation of Power and Glory. And I'm not going to be... Oh, I could potentially trigger that. 1 damage, defend 4. That'll prevent a blight there. And it gives me that. Yeah, good. So I'm going to do Birch Card Warning and Elusive Ambushes. And then on Shadows side of the ledger, we're going to do Concealing Shadows, and we're going to do... Am I going to have enough to do 3 card plays next turn? No, I'm looking at 2 again. Unless I... No, that's still a 2. Yeah, that's fine. We're going to do Concealing Shadows, and we're going to do... Crops Wither and Die, I think is still the right call. Gives me that. Ooh. Oh, 1 away from a sacred site. Oh, I can target. I'm gonna do the special rule twice. Maybe. Maybe, maybe. Yes, I think I will. So I'm gonna play Crops Wither and Die. Cost me 1. And I have this innate because I have 2 and 1. I'm going to use a special rule for the innate. I can target a land 1 away from I have a sacred site. However, again, I can target a land with Dahan regardless of power's range. I'm going to gather and explore from 1 into 5 because there are Dahan there. And that way, when all these are destroyed, which is my plan, there will be no building in 1. These 2 mountains are going to be a mess, but if I can take care of Thunderspeaker's board, I can potentially move over and kind of deal with the rest of it. So I did my innate power over here. I'm going to do Bird's Cry Warning. I'm going to push up to 3 Dahan. I'm going to 1 away from where I have. I have to target a land with Dahan, and I can target a land 3 away from where I have presence. So obviously I have range to 5. I'm pushing these into 4. And then I'm using Concealing Shadows. I'm taking 1 Fear off the top. Dahan take no damage from Ravaging Invaders this turn. And I'm going to spend the extra energy to target land 4 on Thunderspeaker's board. So I did, again, the special rule twice. I'm going to take this energy here just to put it there so I don't put it back in my supply accidentally. Let me do a element check. I do have Gather the Warriors, and I have the 1st level of Lead the Furious Assault, or 2nd level of Lead the Furious Assault, not counting, well, 1st level if you're not counting the 4 air thing. Number of air I have 1 on my board, 1 on one of my cards, and then suns I have 1, 2 on my cards. And again, I already had the 2 moons and the 1 fire to do this to again prevent a build. Of course, the event card's going to be like, a beast kills an explorer, and I'm going to be like, damn it! But I think that's the right play. Alright, what's going on? You could help in both land 5 and 8 to prevent cascades. Yeah, for sure. Diamond of Forces of Fun, but you have to live on the edge of Blight. Mega, as far as I know, you must choose a card from the first draw before you draw the next 4. Yes. He did. Birch Warning was the first draw. Yep. My bad, clearing the kitchen. Clearing the kitchen is something I should do more of, sir, so you are a good man. My wife agrees. Uh, we are going to go to the Invader Phase. Nothing on Healthy Island. Man, I'm definitely looking at potentially going Blighted Island early here, but it is the nature of playing against Sweden 5. But I think this will make some sense, hopefully. What do we get? Wave of Recognizance. We are in stage. No, we're in stage 2. Urbanization. In each land with at least 2 towns, you place half the towns, rounding up, with cities. We have no lands with 2 towns because we already took care of the one land that had 2 towns last turn. Stricken. Invaders do not ravage in lands with disease or strife. That is not going to affect us at all this round. And then retreat. On each board, push 2 Dahan from a land with disease city to a land without cities. No! Oh, don't do it. Oh, that's so bad. Ah, that's freaking terrible. That makes me all sorts of sad, guys. Wow. Oh, by the way, elusive ambushes is also fast, and I'm defending 4 in land 7. That wasn't obvious. Oh, the best laid plans of mice and men. Oh, that's so stupid. I was gonna wipe all that stuff out. Don't retreat. I don't want you to retreat. Shoot. There's no good way to place to push these dudes. I can't push them to 4. They're gonna get whacked. Oh, that means I'm gonna have so I'm gonna have freaking towns and cities there, which is awful. I don't have a presence even to push in there to do lead the Furious Assault, but I can get a presence in there. Oh, that's so freaking bad, dude. Hmm, that's really bad. Well, I don't even know how to figure this out now. Push. Stage 2 card. Don't want to leave things especially vulnerable. Sands would be the worst draw now. Oh, cancel. Negate. Don't do it. That was a waste of energy with concealing shadows, too. Oh, it's so stupid. Alright, this goes to 5. Oh, such a bad event. I have to push this guy out of here. It's going to go to land. Number 5. Push 2 out of 4, 1 out of 5, and hopefully this event card will get some of the magic back. Alright, Dahan Attack. Each player removes an explorer from a land with Dahan. Not helpful. I will remove this explorer, and I will remove... Well, I'll remove 2 explorers from here. That could actually help next turn. So I'm gonna choose the same land. Stage 2 card, that would have been better. Because then I could have 1 damage with the Dahan, and then I could have retaliated and wiped out that city, which was... And if I wiped out even that city, that would have helped prevent the build in land 1, which is still going to happen now because those towns are still going to live. Oh, I can wipe out the town. Oh, that's a... It's not great, but it will help a little bit. All right, so we're ravaging. We're ravaging in land 7. It's ravaging 4. I'm defended 4. Dahan retaliate. Wipe out that town. That's 1 fear. We're ravaging a total of 9 inland 4. That's 2 blight. Again, the Dahan survive thanks to concealing shadows. The Dahan's going to fight back, wipe out this town. That's 1 fear. So there is only 1 structure adjacent to 1, so at least there's that. They're ravaging 3 in land 7. That's only 1 blight. That's going to injure. It's going to kill a Dahan. I have no Thunderspeaker presence within range 1. Injures the other Dahan. The Dahan fight back and destroys that town. That's 4 fear. And then ravaging inland 4, ravaging 9. That's 2 blight because of Sweden. And Blighted Island. Disintegrating ecosystem. On each board, destroy a beast. Ding and ding, and then add 1 disease to add 1 blight to a land with cities or towns. We're gonna have 5 fear per player. Lots of blight. 5 blight per player. I keep saying fear when I mean blight. Lots to work with, but again, it's really only going to be 4 blight per player because the extra blight that we're adding is going to come from this card. And no, Eric Royce loves you blight on the Blighted Island side of things because he's like, stop blighting my island. Because, you know, I gave you extra blight to play with. What is wrong with you? Oh, fuck. That's not good. I'm actually going to have 6 blight to play with because I think I hate the blight cascade everywhere. And lose presence. Oof. All my blight is where I have every land with structures and towns except for land 2 has blight. Oh, that's really not good. Don't think it makes sense to lose presence if I can help it. So I am going to add a blight to 4 and cascade into 3. Nope, cascade into 1. And then I'm going to add a blight to 4 and cascade into 3. Have I told you how upset about this event card I was? Because I would have just been able to do this. I don't hate the fear card. I don't like the fact that I ended up having to add 4 blight instead of just 2, but I don't want to lose any of my presence in 2, especially obviously with manifestations of power and glory. So the Ravage step is done. We have 6 blight to play with. Hopefully that's enough. We are now going to do the build step. So we only have 1 structure in an adjacent land, so we don't build the land 1, which is definitely the point of what I was trying to do. We're going to add a town to land 6. We add a city to land 5 on Shadows board and a city to land 8. And now we explore. Sands. Oh, that's awful. That is absolutely the worst card. Because exactly the reason why I didn't want to lose Dahan there. And now, oh, it's so bad. Man, I could have done like Bird's Cry Warning there. They would have both survived. So that all that just was like worst case scenario. So we get an explorer here. This town, this Dahan now becomes a town. We get an explorer here. This Dahan becomes a town. This is going to be a short night, kids. We have an explorer here. And we have an explorer here. We lost 3 Dahan to towns. We have added 0 Dahan in this playthrough, and I don't think I can come back from this. That's just a really brutal turn of events. Blech. Okay. Well, 4 4 Dahan left on Thunderspeaker's board, and only 3 over here. Yeah, 7 Dahan is not the Thunderspeaker thing of dreams. All right, Invader cards advance. Ugh. Crops Wither and Fade. I'm going to get 2 fear, and I'm going to turn this city into a town. Gather the warriors. I'm going to target land 1. I can gather up to 2. I'm going to gather 2 warriors with both of my presence. And then I can push 2. I'm going to push 1. I'm going to push them both into land 6 with one of my presence. I'll bring both my presence. And now I'm going to lead the Furious Assault. I'm going to destroy a town in land 6 for every 2 Dahan I have there. So I have 2 Dahan, so that gives me 1 fear. We're 1 away from another fear card. Going to spend all this energy. We go to time passes. Does anything heal? Nope, nothing heals. And we're in serious trouble. Unrelated to this game, and I don't know if you've done it before, but I think two-handed Shadows and Serpent could be fun because of the Shadow special rule for sure. Wow, that is brutal. Rip. Yep. Is that on each board? If it's just one, you could do land 2 on the other board. Okay, did both, so I guess there's each board. Doesn't blight, only remove presence if it was added by a ravage. Doesn't blight, only remove presence if it was added by... No, blight always removes a presence, Marlowe. Yeah, blight always removes a presence. Cascading, there's a special rule here that if you add a second blight, it doesn't remove a second presence, but all blight removes presence. That's super bad. Oh, that was like that board looks so good, and now it looks so horrendous. But look at my coast, people. Just admire that for a second, would you? How? How did that happen? Who was doing this? Alright, well, Thunderspeaker needs to start representing. All sorts of terrible. Alright, we're going to go bottom track. I'm going to add a presence. I'm going to add a presence to land 4 and try to do some manifestation of power and glory there. We're going to get 4 energy plus 2 energy from the presence track. I'm definitely playing manifestations of power and glory. And I can do words of warning. That's a nice combo. The question is, can I get enough Dahan in here to do some magic? I think it will be a decent amount of damage, especially when I have Lead the Furious Assault on top of it. So that will work. That cost me 3. That cost me 1. Shadows. Shadows is gonna get wool. Shadows is gonna add a presence. So I just get all 3 card plays and reclaim. I think that makes some sense. So Shadows is going to get 3 card plays, gets 3 energy. We're adding a presence. 3 away from where I have presence. None of this is good. This is especially egregiously bad. And I will add you. Getting up to that would be super nice. But I want the 3 card plays. So we'll get to you soon. Never fear. I'm going to add you. Gather 4. Looking at blight. I mean, I'm looking at double blight there. No blight on Thunderspeaker's board. Actually, I don't need this defend 3. Sorry, I forgot I already took care of that town. Let me think about something else that's more useful. want a sun. We'll do Voice of Thunder. It's free, and I might just actually use it for the 2 fear. And it's still, oh, but it doesn't have, yikes. But it doesn't have the beast, which I'm gonna need. We'll do Sudden Ambush. That be better. Alright, that's gonna cost me 2. Oh, but then I don't have the frickin' sun. Yikes! Is defending 3 gonna help me anywhere? No, it's not. Yeah, I need Gather the Warriors too much. I need Gather the Warriors too much. The thing is, I might not need Lead the Furious Assault all that much. It's going to leave me without a fire next. Oh, I can get a fire back next turn. That'd be fine. So I'll do Sudden Ambush. Because I need the beast. Feed the beast. Alright, so we have that. We don't have Lead the Furious Assault, which, again, I'm not that upset about right now. I have other things to worry about. So that's 3. We only have 1 sun. And I'll be able to get 2 in there and kind of make that work. Alright, where am I putting this stupid presence is the bigger question. I'm going to put this presence a sacred place central. Probably makes the most sense. Alright. We have 2 moons. We have 1 fire. Did not hit my elements too hard. My card draw is going to let me gather 1. Do want to conserve some energy here. I can get a bunch of fear into slow power phase. Fast powers, entrap the forces of corruption. I'm going to gather a blight into a land 1 away from my presence. I'm going to gather this blight into land 1. I'm going to isolate land 6, and that is going to allow me to, when blight is added to target land, it doesn't cascade, which is fine. I just prevented the cascade anyway. Still going to add 2 blight though. That's adding 2 blight. And if that Dahan dies, I'm going to lose a presence there. Get that Dahan out of there. Oh, I lost so many freaking Dahan. I'm upset. We're going to do this, gather and explore. I'm going to gather this explorer 1 away from my sacred site. I'll gather this explorer out of 7 into 6. Sense. I gather this explorer out of 7 into 1. There's 2 Dahan there. Maybe I'll get lucky with some event card. That's done. Sudden ambush. I do want to protect this Dahan so I don't lose a presence. So I can gather a presence 1 away from I have a presence. I'm going to gather this presence into 4. I'm going to be able to destroy 1 of those explorers. Obviously 4 is looking like an absolute mess for next turn. I'll be able to take care of this one this turn, and hopefully I'll be able to figure out something for their next turn. So sudden ambush is done. Everything else I have is a slow power. Great, and by great I mean not so great. Oh man, that's really bad. let's go to the event card. We are Blighted Island, lesser spirits imperiled. The invader spread is threatening many of the island's smaller spirits. You may tend to your own strength. I get an energy for each spirit. I discard a minor power. If it has a plant, I remove a blight. That's terrible. Or I can forge a web of mutual support that's aided by, wow, that's aided by plant. Which, oh, could be worse. Alright, we're going to do that. Remember, aided by plants. Ooh, gains a permanent element. You have to lose a presence, though. Kind of okay with that. So, I'm going to, aided by plant, I don't want to lose all my energy. Yikes. It's going to have to do, so I'm going to spend all 4 of my energy. And then Shadows is going to forget Entrap the Forces of Corruption. That gives me 8. Again, Entrap the Force of Corruption is still in play. Again, when it's triggered, when it's a single land effect, that stays for the rest of the game. For that stays, is you trigger it and then it stays. If it is something that like a universal effect, you evaluate as it goes down. So like anything like defend 1 per Dahan everywhere, well, you're going to evaluate that as the whole thing unfolds. But if it's a single land effect, you basically set it and you forget it. It's kind of like the setting a trap with stone. Which is nice, and it doesn't affect my elements at all anyway, because I don't have any slow and A powers anyway. So each spirit has to destroy a presence. I'm going to destroy these 2 presents. It's the first destroy presence of the game, so that's one thing going for me. And then each spirit gains a permanent element for the rest of the game. That's enticing. I think it's going to make sense to get a sun for Thunderspeaker, and we'll obviously get a moon over here for Shadow. And I think the next time I reclaim, we're going to have to, well, I just spent all my energy, so major powers is going to be tough. Quit the farmlands. On each board, push a beast to a land with cities or towns. Well, I have no beast. They all went bye-bye with the Blighted Island card. Return to old pillars. On each board, gather 1 or 2 Dahan into a land with Dahan setup symbols. Wish that helped Thunderspeaker more. It does not. Wow. God, that's... that is an unfortunate situation. I'm going to gather these 2 Dahan from 1 into 2. And I'll gather... So it's 1 or 2. I have to do it. Oh, this is really bad. So I have to move another Dahan away from where I want it. I'll move this into 7. Great. These are going really well for me, guys. We have the Ravage step. Ravaging 1 in land 6. Dahan injured. Fights back. Destroys that explorer. Not ravaging in 1. We are ravaging in 7. It's ravaging 7. So it's going to be 2 blight and 1 cascade. I'm losing 2 presence as Shadow. And we're getting 2 blight in land 6. Even though that land is isolated, so we have 1 blight left on the card. That's looking really good. And then we have our build action. We're getting a city in land 7. We're getting a town in land 4. We get a town in land 4. We get a city in land 7. Invader cards. Oh, then we have our Explorer step. We're exploring into wetlands. Oh, of course. I should have seen that coming. Again, I left the 1 Dahan there because I didn't want to move both of them into 7. So that Dahan now comes to town. And we're just getting absolutely annihilated. This is how this goes. Man. Wow. So I have 3 Dahan total on Thunderspeaker's board, and I can only get 1 Dahan into land 4. I surrender. I think it seems silly to play this out. I'm not gonna lie. I have nothing to work with. That's really bad. Alright. Well, screw it. Let's try it. We're going to do 3 and 2. So I'm going to gather 3 Dahan into 5 and push 2 of them into 4 with 2 of my presents. So we now have 2 Dahan and 3 presents, and we have an injured Dahan who will just remain in 5. And that was with Gather the Warriors. I get 1 fear off the top with Manifestation of Power and Glory. Oh, I could do that. Never mind. Put that back. I'm going to do Favors Called Due. I'm going to gather up the 4 Dahan. 1 away from my presence as Shadows and get 4 Dahan in there. And then Manifestation of Glory, I get the 1 fear. Each Dahan deals damage equal to the number of my presence. So that's going to be 12 damage. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I could have left 1 Dahan away, but honestly, there was no point. And that's going to be 4 fear. And we already earned the fear card. So we are 4 fear away from Terror level 2. Done. Lead the Furious Assault. I still have that. If I did... I wonder if I could have done that math different. Town. There's a city, 2 towns. And I had 12 damage as it is. I could do it this way. Great. So I'm going to do Mandal of Dread. I'm going to generate 2 fear. I can push a town and explore from one of my lands. I'm going to push them into land 2. And that's fine. And then we'll lead a Furious Assault. I'm going to destroy this town because I have 2 Dahan there. And that's 1 more fear. Invader cards. Our time passes. We go to growth. We have to do... Well, are these still in my hand? No, I used those last turn. Yeah, I reclaimed. What? 3 card plays. Yeah, yeah, this is turn 5. So Shadows is absolutely gonna have to reclaim now. Reclaim, gets an energy, gets a power card. Gonna get minors because I can't afford majors right now. Dark Entangled Woods, Gift of Twin Days, Gift of Power. I'll take Dark Entangled Woods. Seems appropriate for our friend Shadows. Thunderspeaker is going to do growth option 2, is going to get 3 card plays and then reclaim 1, adding a presence to a land with a Dahan. I'm going to add 2 presents. I mean, we're so toast ghost here. I mean, they're ravaging in 3 sands. There's just no way I can get even close to enough defend. No way. I mean, I can reclaim that. I'm going to get 2 energy. Not even going to have the Dahan movement. Close to. Not even have the Dahan movement. To get the Dahan where I want them. Maybe Shadows can give me some. But I'm going to play these 3 cards. I'm going to add 2 presents to a land with Dahan. I'll add them both inland too, because I can. We now go to Shadows this turn. Shadows is playing 3 cards. Shadow only has 1 energy. I only have 1 0 cost card, so I guess I am kind of SOL here. We'll play Dark and... Nope. We'll play Mantle of Dread. Cost 1. Gonna get this. I can target a land 1 away from where I have a Sacred Site. Oh, I don't even have a Sacred Site on the board anymore, so I can't even do Darkness Swallows the Unwary. Oh, that's awesome. I'll generate 1 fear at the top against Sealing Shadows. That gives me terror level 2. Dahan will take no damage somewhere in land 5. I can target any land. This can come off. And I can defend 4, 1 away from my presence and land with Dahan. I can defend 3 here, but again, my Dahan are not where they need to be to actually take care of those defense powers, and I can only target lands with Dahan, so I'll use them both in land 4. We're not even going to do an element check here. Event card. New cash crops take hold. Immediately, Invaders Ravage in 1 terrain type not showing under any invader action. I think I did this in a playthrough where I chose separately for each board. This has to be the same land type. Spirits may prevent this on any all boards by destroying 2 presents from each board to be protected. I can choose anywhere I choose, I lose. So I will choose. I'll have to choose, yeah, jungle or mountains. It doesn't matter. I can choose mountains. We're good here. I have to destroy 2 presents from here. I'll destroy 1. I'll just destroy 2 from Thunderspeaker. And we're good there. Beast provoked. We don't on each board add a beast to a land without Dahan. Add without blight that has cities. I don't think that exists. It has towns actually. It can't even be cities. I can add a beast there. And then county defense during Ravage and every land defend 1 per Dahan. Obviously not going to help very much. We have Isolation, terror level 2. Each player removes an explorer or town from a land with 2 or fewer invaders. I can remove this town here, and we can remove this explorer here to prevent the build. And then we have Fleet of Pestilent Land. Each player removes up to 3 health of invaders from a land with disease, or 1 explorer from an inland land. I remove this city from there, and remove this explorer from there. Then the invaders are going to ravage, and they're going to do 2, 5, 7 blight plus cascade. Yeah, probably about 10 blight. So we were 10 blight away from making this a game. That's so bad. That's really bad. My girlfriend just came home. I will watch the VOD later. Best of luck against this monster. Yelp. Oh my god, you're alive. Yeah, what's up, Havanas? How are you, man? Good to see you here. Even with 2 Dahan, I would be converted. Player slows to resign. Just oof. Heal the Dahan and land 4. Yeah, that makes me feel a little bit better. And we have 4 healthy Dahan with 3 blight and 4 on my presence. If your current cards do nothing, you just reclaim even if you don't need for 2 more card options. If you're doing a playthrough on Tabletop Simulator, I don't really do. I've considered it. I haven't done it. I don't really like the Tabletop Simulator world, and not because I think I'm against it. Like I love that it's really opened up a lot more opportunities for people to play, certain of these games that there's just, space is a concern, cost is a concern. Tabletop Simulator makes it super easy. For me personally, I'm not sure I need more access to more games. So, as a matter of time management and as a matter of impulse control, I am resisting the urge to get on Tabletop Simulator anytime soon. There are some things in the works right now that might change, but for the most part, I like the tactile nature. I was a poker player for a long time, so I just think I like just touching things. I'm very touchy. I want to have things in my hands, and Tabletop Simulator does I've dabbled in simulator with like family and stuff like that, and I found it a little bit underwhelming for what I'm looking for. But again, really happy that it exists for sure. I actually only have it on Tabletop Simulator, so I personally always do. Yeah, that's awesome. Just tuned in. Is this Base Shadows? I think Madness makes the spirit really good. Oh, Madness is fantastic. What's up, Kev? How are you doing, man? Yeah, Base Shadow. For sure. Madness is fantastic. Look, I actually think Base Shadow was someone I had undervalued for a long time. I don't know how he plays against England. The fact that they're still building makes him tougher. Remember, I did do a England 6, 4, 5. It was my first two-handed playthrough. Was I think it was England 5, and it was Shadow and it was Lightning. And Shadow kind of availed himself pretty well. It was interesting because going in, I thought I would really struggle on Shadow's board and I would have an easier time on Lightning's board. And I actually found it to be the opposite, that Shadow was able to do just enough to kind of prevent builds to make his board manageable. And Lightning was the board that I was having a hard time destroying the towns and cities fast enough as they came up. But Shadow's a fun little spirit. I know I've made the was it John? I think is yeah, because it's Ryan and John. I think John's the Shadows lover on the Kindred Spirit podcast. I know I've made him a lot happier by kind of coming around to see the light on how Shadows plays and the kind of some of the fun nature of the game. I think most people probably know this story by now. In initial playtesting, Shadow was considered too strong, and then they tweaked him down. And even Eric Royce on my interview with him on the channel was like, "Hey, we made it," or maybe he said it before we went live, but I know he said it publicly elsewhere, so I'm not like giving out dirty, like dark secrets. That they think they might have actually tweaked him down too low. The more I played him, the more I'm not sure about that. I actually think he's a very viable spirit against some pretty high level adversaries, and knowing when to use a special rule, I was really stoked about that combo I had. I don't know how it plays out differently, but if you imagine this board where I basically had taken care of land 4, would not have had to worry about that. I would be able to focus a lot of energy on this land 4. I think you can imagine a playthrough where this plays out very differently had that event not totally wrecked my plans, and just made this a very unworkable situation. The blight on the card, we could have done worse. We could have done better. The fact that I was basically adding 4 blight right off the bat, so I only had 6 blight left, against Sweden, is really really rough. But yeah, that just a lot of things went wrong. I mean, even considering that though, I mean, how strong is Thunderspeaker? A lot of things went wrong. And we're still like, oh, that board doesn't look that bad. It's actually fairly good. I mean, the goal for me was if I could have taken care of land 4, and then I could have kind of moved into board D, done a power manifestation and glory in land 2, and then kind of tried to clean out shadows before we got to the coastal lands card, which I'm guessing, yep, there it is. There it is. Would have liked that earlier. I mean, losing 4 Dahan to that stage. I think I lost 5 Dahan to that stage 2 escalation. That's just not workable. I mean, having sands come up when I had 3 Dahan, just low-hanging fruit, was really, really unfortunate. And then I lost another one. It was like every time I was forced to move Dahan by the event card, it always blew up in my face. So like that was just a bit unlucky for sure. Run it back. I would love to. That's unfortunately not gonna happen today. I'm sure that was going on 2 hours. Oh, hour 40. Yeah. Maybe. Maybe I could have done it right away. I definitely don't have the time tonight. Unfortunately, Mrs. Playthroughs has another idea of what she would like me to do with my time tonight, and her idea is better. So I will I'm not blaming her. She has just a better idea for my life than I do often. So that's totally a thing. Yeah, I definitely would play the board game just to hold the cards if I owned it. Michael says, and that was from Marlowe. Michael says, as a Fear Spirit, Shadow must accept Blight, but Sweden hits so hard. Yeah, no doubt. Kev, I think you should play a solo Shadows game now. It's been a long time, right? Yeah, I definitely, I should. And I'm really toying with how do I get the aspect cards on the channel, but Part of me would like to know, maybe I can just do a different. I'll just like change the aspect cards and cycle through them all in one playthrough. But I think that'd be the balance would be too much. The way you have to plan your spirit out too carefully, I think that would be too much. Yeah, I really should get another solo shadow on the channel against a level 5 adversary and a level 6 adversary and kind of see what happens because, it's definitely just a fun way to play. I could see him being, Russia, like your biggest concern is obviously the explorers, being able to move them quickly. I think Shadows would actually avail himself quite well. I mean, he's not like the hard counter that Lore is, but he's got some really cool mechanics that would work extremely well against Russia for sure. Um, yeah, that was just a tough setup, and definitely the fact that I hadn't had a chance to really try this once or twice in playthroughs off camera. I think that shows a little bit, but I don't know what I would have done too much different. I mean, sometimes the event cards just crush you, and I get why people. It's one of the reasons people really don't like them. But I kind of like the way they bring the island to life and add some randomness that was lacking in just the base game, at least for how I was experiencing it in my playthroughs. The stage 3 cards would have been interesting to start seeing the secondary adversary or the support adversary and seeing that come into play. So we were on the cusp of the stage 3 cards. So again, we would have had to we would have done a build in a land that has the most builds with Manifestation of Power and Glory. Had I been able to get over the hump and get some control over the island, I think that would have been absolutely fine. We would have had to make sure we didn't hit the additional loss condition of England, but obviously we weren't even close, for sure. Dahan conversions, limited Thunderspeaker's options so much. Oh yeah, really bad. A man needs priorities. He does. He does. So no, like for real, if I didn't lose all those Dahan, I could have really done the math better where I could have just moved a certain number of Dahan into there, done land 4, left Dahan back here, wiped out that town, and just done a whole bunch more, been in more places. But Thunderspeaker with 3 freaking Dahan is, I mean, that's just not a Thunderspeaker game, like, at all. I mean, the crazy thing is I didn't lose a single, even with the special rules sworn to victory, I didn't lose a single presence because of losing a Dahan to a Ravage. This Dahan, just this, you know, um, the additional, the freaking stage 2 escalation is where I lost all of them. That was just really, really rough. But I will bemoan my fate another day. I think we'll be back. I have plans to do a double header for Spirit Island. I did it once already. I'm going to do it again. And my goal is to actually do a first and second wave. So I'm going to do the second wave scenario. Hopefully I win the first one. So I'm going to pick my matchup a little bit carefully. I'm not going to go super cheese, I don't think, but we'll see. But if I can get the first wave out of the way, and then I'll just do a second wave, just so people can see those mechanics. There is a nice little way where you can kind of build a mini campaign into the game. So I'm looking forward to that. I will, because it's going to be a double header, I'll probably just do one spirit, one adversary, one board, level 6, I think is how that's going to play out, just most logically. Again, aspects are still on the radar for the future. Your next couple of weeks, I know I have some Maids Night. I got a bunch of stuff I need to edit. Let me kind of pull up the schedule here real quick and just kind of give you the next couple of weeks. There is no live playthrough next week. I am away, but we have a Maids Night that I have to edit for Sunday. When I say Sunday, it usually means Monday or Tuesday, but a man can hope. Friday, I have my first playthrough of my. I'm sorry, on Wednesday next week, I'll have my first playthrough of Friday releasing. Wednesday might be Thursday or Friday, but we'll get it out. Maybe I'll just release Friday on Friday. Seems appropriate. And then I have a Cloudspire I need to edit. And then we'll be back in 2 weeks with a live playthrough, a double header of Maids Night. I'm going to do Hidden Valley. And then I'm also going to redo the Return of Apocalypse scenario. And the designer, Warlord Drake, is actually going to join me at some point. He might be a little bit late, but he's going to try to join in live. So that's pretty cool. That was a very cool challenge. It was a patron challenge by Brian. And I had a couple of things wrong mechanically. Mostly right, a couple things wrong, but enough wrong that I really want to do it again just to give it a better showing so people can really see what the design was supposed to be and see how it plays out. Lots of things to like about that scenario for sure. Blake R. I'm a relatively new solo player, but have the game flow down pat now. I've only played true solo. What way to play do you prefer? True solo or two-handed or varies? I it's interesting. I like. If you asked me 6 months ago, it would have been true solo every day, all day, and that was when I was playing this game a lot with friends. My gaming group has kind of moved into other games now. They still all love Spirit Island, but there's like so many games out there that we're just having a hard time getting it back. So since I'm not playing with friends as much, other than Tony and I getting together on Zoom now and again, I think I've enjoyed the variety of throwing in some two-handed playthroughs, and I think that's also I've already methodically gone through all 24 spirits. So now that I feel like I understand all the spirits enough that the two-handed playthrough doesn't make my head want to explode, I think that's better. I think for the average person, if you really should be spending a lot more time playing true solo before you try to advance to multi-handed playthroughs, because there's just a lot of depth and nuance in how all these spirits play, and then the variety you get with the different adversaries and the event decks and the different boards. I mean, all of that just makes for radically different experiences, even within one spirit. But playing more two-handed has been a nice addition to my game of Spirit Island, and I know it's the channel. It's been good for the channel. People seem to really like the two-handed playthroughs. So long-winded answer. I think I would still, when I'm alone, because it's quicker. It allows me to go really in depth. I find it more immersive. I probably still slightly prefer the true solo experience, but the two-handed playthroughs are very, very cool. Guys that do like six-handed playthroughs, I mean, God bless them, man. Like, not me. I don't have a desire to have a six-handed playthrough of Spirit Island with myself. I barely have a desire to do a six-handed playthrough with five other people because I just think that would be way too long. But perhaps one day. And plus, like, it's so hard to level, right? I mean, finding six people, each of which can have an adversary that they're very familiar with, like, it only takes one person to have their board go to utter crap that you've just spent 6 hours on like a losing endeavor, uh, and 6 hours might be on the low end. So I'm not sure how, from an experiential standpoint, that makes sense. But maybe. I mean, I have enough kids. God, well, enough peers, enough friends of mine who love this game. Who one day maybe we'll get a six-handed playthrough together and just see how it goes. Trader Dahan, damn, a lot of Maze Knight sounds great. Yeah, Maze Knight and Spirit Island is still. I mean, I'll feature a lot of games, but that is it's funny looking at those numbers of view counts. I mean, obviously that's what I'm more known for, and not a bad place to be, man. I'll tell you what, those are my one and two for a reason. They are the games that keep on giving, and you just keep every time I play them. I'm like, why do I even bother playing other games? It's like, not gonna lie, like I love Madara, man. Like Madara has been a game that's really been a journey for me, and I've really appreciated it so much more, like having put in the time. But like, there are definitely times where I'm like looking up the umpteenth rule on a board game forum, and I'm like 2 hours into a gameplay, and I've really only done like 3 turns. 'Cause I've had to like clarify so many things, and I'm like, why am I not just playing Spirit Island and Maze Knight? It's like, why? Why do I do this to myself? But the variety is obviously nice, and I am half joking, but only half. Make no mistake. But yeah, Spirit Island and Maze Knight, like they keep on giving an insane amount of replayability, and not just from a content perspective, but from a depth perspective. There are definitely some games that like the replayability is all about how much content there is. And then there are games like this where the replayability is not only the fact you have 24 spirits and 7 adversaries and a bunch of scenarios and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and a bunch of modes of play that you can try. The replayability is from the fact that it's so deep, in the strategies and the puzzles that emerge. You know, I could play 100 games with Thunderspeaker and I'm still going to have to puzzle out the elements and what are my card draws and what's the game state and all of that. And that's just the mark of a great game, right? Plus the narratives that emerge, right? This is not a narrative heavy game, but it kind of is, right? The narratives that emerge from the events, and that's why I love the events so much. It is give me more of that narrative, tell me what's happening on this island, and tell me how I can, try to make it better, from the spirits perspective for sure. Blake R says thanks for the take. Sounds like I have more true solo plays ahead for sure. Kev says honestly, 4-player plays with experienced players is only 2 to 3 hours in a group. That's awesome. Arc Nova brings in the views right now. Oh, man, at least on my German channel. Yeah, I could see it. I'm I'm torn on Arc Nova. I've played it twice competitively. I like it. And though you're talking about a guy, I've really burned out on Terraforming Mars. Like, I just don't enjoy that game as much anymore. Mrs. Playthroughs loves it, so we'll still play it now and again. When I can get her to play a game with me, I would rather play anything with her than not, so it's fine. But I do think Arc Nova does a lot of things smart. Um, that's a big deck of unique cards, and my second game in, it was like just my friend. He's an excellent gamer, so make no mistake, and he sees combos and he's really good at building combos. But he had like the most broken combination of cards ever. Like it was just unreal. He just ran up the reputation track super quick, ended the game before anyone else really had a chance to even get going. Um, and I was like, man, like having that happen on the second play is like really like it just reminded me of so many games of Terraforming Mars where like someone gets a broken like science combo together and like their turns are longer and it's just like all right, like you clearly can't win, but you have to play out the string because you're just so dependent on the right cards coming up, and if they don't, you're just toast. I think Arc Nova fixes some of that problem. The way it's not as bad with Arc Nova, and I do need more gameplays of it. I get why people like it. I could see it being a much more engaging, much more enjoyable solo experience than Terraforming Mars is for me. So it's cool. I get the hype. I've just it is what it is. I'm curious to see how people are talking about that game in like 6 months, a year, and it seems like people absolutely love the idea of hey, I need to search through this huge deck to find these cards that I want. I hate that mechanic in games. I don't like feeling like I'm so dependent on like digging through a deck to find a few cards that will work with this thing I have built. I just find for me like it's not it's like probably my least favorite mechanic in board games, and that's probably just talking as a poker player that I spent so many so many hours of my life hoping for the right card to come to complete my flush or complete my straight that I'm just kind of over it. So we're good to go, and I would definitely play it again though. Make no mistake, this is not hatred for Arc Nova. I get it. It's not a game that's going to work for me well. The fact that I like it at all is a testament to how good it is. I think is the best way to say it for sure. But yeah, man, Arc Nova is good. It's there's another game I played recently, like kind of scratched some of the itch of Arc Nova. Very different. Like I really liked Gollum. That's a game that I might try to pick up solo. Had that more like point chasey, building out a board kind of feel, some interesting combos. I mean, there's just so many good games right now. It's absolutely insane. So, we'll see. It's like every week I try to lie to myself and say, "All right, I'm good. Like no more new games for a while." And then, I got Last Bastion coming to my house tomorrow. That's like if you don't know, Last Bastion is a re-theme of Ghost Stories, and it's like a tower defensey kind of cooperative game that I've heard a lot about, so I'm excited about. I think people are kind of split whether they prefer one or the other, but they really are essentially the same game. People seem to like the artwork and the theme of Ghost Stories better, and Last Bastions, I guess, is a little bit less punishing, but generally speaking, they are pretty much the same game. Honestly, I don't think Arc Nova is a good solo game. Maze Knight, etc., offers so much more, but people watch it. That's cool. The one thing I felt weird about Arc Nova, and I mean, there's a couple things I find weird about Arc Nova, but like I don't understand the design decision of why they felt the need to say, hey, your score is actually the difference of your two tracks. It's just not a very like psychologically satisfying experience to play a game for 3 hours and score 2 points. Um, and especially if I mean 2 points is probably going to lose. So I think if someone had said, "Hey, I scored 102 points and I lost because some other guy scored 120," that's a much better first experience of a game. So I think that's just really off-putting. And like practically speaking, they didn't need to do that. You could add your two scores and it's going to be the same result. There's going to be the same winner every time. I think thematically it makes sense to saying like a zoo is only as good as they are if they're actually worrying about conservation as well as having exciting animals. Like so thematically, I get the decision, but it's just the way it plays out. I just think I'm surprised that's not more off-putting to more people. I'm surprised the game is still so popular with people who are like, losing games by scoring -4 points their first three playthroughs after spending hours on this game. Um, I don't know, but that's again that's just me. I mean, I've scored first time I played, I think I scored like 9, and I lost. Somebody had scored like 16 or 17, and the second time I played, like my friend had run away with it so clearly that I was like, I'm definitely I am a big fan. I think we need to accept and validate people like conceding in board games more, because there's just no point. It's like, hey, dude, good game. Like, I'm just I lose. Like, it is what it is. So I did not even score that. And I know some people, it's like, oh my gosh, you didn't even score. It's like, what's the point, dude? Like, you won. I don't care what the score is, right? I'm not a score tracker. It's like I don't keep scoring Mage Knight. So it's like, it is what it is. Did I win? Great, excellent. But I use several solo fan mods now, and it makes the solo mode okay because it simulates multiplayer games. But yeah, still not my favorite. Cool. Now, good to know. Yeah, Mage Knight's on another level. Like, it's games like Mage Knight, Spirit Island. What they offer for a solo player is so hard to capture. I think the only like point chaser that come close because of a depth standpoint for me is going to be Gaia Project, right? That's, I think, the only like point chaser type game in my top 10. Everything else has like clear win conditions. Now, Cloudspire is like renown. You have to chase those three renown, but that's still different than trying to score a bunch of points and beat an Atoma. But yeah, I think I might borrow my friend's copy of Arc Nova at some point and to explore the solo mode a little bit, maybe get it on the channel. But that's going to be months from now at best. I still got so many games I'm trying to get back in the channel, get on the channel the first time. Imperium Legends is, I think, next up for me to film a playthrough of. I definitely need to get that out. And then the guys from Nemesis Games to send me a copy of Uprising. So that is high on my list to learn. I'm very, very excited to dive into Uprising next, for sure. So that looks cool. Nemesis Games, what a cool. I didn't know much about them before this latest Uprising campaign, but what a cool freaking company that is. I really just like their vibe. I like some of the things they did with their first Kickstarter and how they handled the shipping crisis and stuff like that. So it's good to see, especially with Euthia just canceling, which was devastating to me. I'm still upset about that. I mean, obviously more devastating to them, so put it in perspective. But this, seeing another publisher be able to kind of find a way to make it work in today's day and age with a big content-heavy, high level of production game, it's cool and excited to learn that game and get it on the channel pretty soon. So that is about it. I am yammering. What's your score in this game right now? Tony, you tell me, man. Put it in your little freaking app. And I'm gonna say my score in this game right now is a 21. I don't even know, dude. It's funny. Like, I've gotten pretty good at guessing within like +or -5 when Tony and I actually play and win. But yeah, dude. With this much blight, again, remember there should be at least one more blight on the board. So I guess you don't add more. So there should be one more blight on the board. I'm down to 6 Dahan. That's a bad score, man. It's just like, bad. That is my absolute score for this first attempt at a double adversary. I will play this on my own though, and I will let you know in the comments how many times it takes me to play before I get a win, or I won't. I don't know. I'll probably try it twice and honestly run out of time. I got too much going on the next couple of days because Sarah and I have things to do. So speaking of which, I hear her rustling upstairs. That's probably my cue to get the heck out of here. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for the assist with the chat. Getting those extra 2 energy early was obviously made this a more watchable playthrough before it all turned to crap. But that happens once in a while. We will be back. If you want to see exactly what's coming up in Solo Playthroughs Land, you go on my Patreon page. The link is in the description below. There you will find a calendar that I post about the beginning of every month that tells you what is being played in the month we are currently in, with a bit of a sneak peek for the next month. While you're there, if you want to check out the tiers of support, see if there is one that makes sense for you, I could really use it and I would really appreciate it. Meantime, thank you for the likes, the comments, the subscriptions. All that really helps as I get more and more established here on the YouTubes. That's my normal spiel, so I'm done with that. Checking the chat. Tony hasn't given me the score yet. Check out in the comments below. Maybe he'll figure it out for me down the road. And in the meantime, thanks again for joining me. And until next time, happy gaming.